back again. I asked him, I said, man, you come on back. He said, no problem. Let's do this.
Yes.
And so it was a pleasure just to get him back on the show. We have a few people that we want to thank. Of course, we want to thank the staff at CAN TV. Thank you all for all that you do to make things happen. We want to thank all of those individuals who have supported Fathers Who Care and our young people in their programming and the activities that they're doing. And we want to encourage those of you who are watching us today, if you are a man, a father, and you want to get involved with Fathers Who Care. Give us a call at Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821 or log on to fatherswhocare.org. Or you can follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that other good stuff that's out there. But we just want you, fathers, to change the narrative. Help us to change the narrative of what people are saying and what people are doing. Because we really believe at Fathers Who Care that it takes a real man to be a father. And we know that a lot of folks are saying that they are, and that's okay too. But any man, as I alluded to earlier, any man that's capable of making a baby, however, it really takes a real man to be a father. And so tonight we want to talk about men empowering men for community empowerment to reduce senseless violence, substance abuse on the west side of Chicago. There's so many resources out here now, Floyd. They can't give it away.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
There's so many organizations right now who are really laboring to do this good work, and they may be smaller organizations. They may not have the resources. But according to a lot of the things that's going on the state level, on the local level, on the city level, on the county level, they can't give away enough money. So I want to encourage those you are watching. You don't have to do it by yourself. We're asking you to team up. That's the way to get it done. If we team up, we share our resources, we pool our resources. If you're good in this area and I'm good in that area and we got others, let's bring those together and look at these young people not as just a statistic or look at them not as a paycheck, but look at them as our future leaders. Look at them as the young people that need just a opportunity.
Yes.
So with that being said, we want to go and get this show rocking and rolling.
All right.
I was riding up here today and so many things was going on in my mind that I just had to get my thoughts back in order because I had been running all week. And it's from one meeting to another meeting. Then we got young people that was facilitating the program over at the office today. And so we're always trying to provide a safe haven for these young people. Mm-hmm. And so I want to encourage those of you who are watching, if you need any assistance, if you need any kind of support, give us a call again. You heard the number 773-287-5821 or just Twitter, Instagram, go on the website, however you do it. But let's do this. Let's get into the show because I got a lot I want to talk to my good brother Floyd about. And I know that he's been out here particularly. He's in Lawndale now working with the Staines Foundation. And I'm going to introduce you as such as the program director. I'm going to say program officer, forgive me. But that's what you do.
Yeah.
You serve.
Yep.
I mean, you probably got 100 titles,
Yeah.
but the one that you're most proud of is the servant.
Yes.
So,
Correct.
So anyway, this show tonight, we want to specifically focus on what can we do as men in the community to really bring about some change in our neighborhood. I mean, each one teach one. Young people can't be what they can't see.
Yeah.
So if we want these young men to aspire to be the best that they can be as opposed to running around grabbing these pistols and sticking up folks and all of this so crazy stuff that they're doing, they're speaking. They actually are speaking, Floyd. They're just speaking the wrong language. Right?
Yeah.
But they asking for help.
Yeah.
They asking someone to give them some help. Unfortunately, right now, folks, when they see these young folks and they got their pants sagging, they don't really understand why. If you educate them about why folks were sagging, then maybe they won't sag, right? But anyway, let's move on down the road to the set. So, Floyd, let's talk to you right quick. Floyd, I know you're committed. The people know you. They don't know about you or why you're so committed. And what I like to do, if you don't mind, I want to ask you, why are you so passionate in the work you're doing? I mean, the work that we're doing, you already know it's sometimes it's unforgiving. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not the money, but the work we do is something. It's the kind of work that you either have to have it in your heart, but you ain't gonna last. But why are you so passionate about it?
Man, thank you, first of all, Father Jones.
Give me that.
You know what I'm saying, all day. So thank you for introducing me and also just framing, the issue, because I think that, one reason I'm so passionate about it is, I come from a family of servants, right? I am the youngest of 5. I have I have 4 sisters, and there 2 of them are social workers, and 2 of them are educators.
There it is.
My mom is an evangelist. My dad was a reverend. So the being able to help people has been something that has just come naturally, through my life course. Mm-hmm. But I will say that as I really started to come into my own adulthood, I made some mistakes in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm someone who have a criminal record who was able to change my life. And what really my passion lies from is from letting individuals know that the things you've been through, they don't define your future. You can wake up every morning and make a decision to do something positive and to change. So I just like to, myself be a beacon, that God himself, has put within me, to be able to serve the people.
Well, I strongly believe, everybody has their cross to bear. Mm-hmm. And if you ain't been through nothing, you ain't doing nothing. Most folks in our circle of influence, and the way life is sometimes, we have to go through something to realize our purpose.
Yep.
So if we ain't been through nothing, we really don't really know what your purpose is.
Yeah.
You got to go through something so you can knuckle down.
Yeah. Facts.
And really put that commitment in.
Yeah.
So I don't have no ill feelings for folks who have had a brush here or a brush there, because a brush in life is nothing but what it is, a brush. I mean, it ain't what make you. It was defining you. However, you had to go through something.
Yes.
And just like when we go to college, you go through college, and some folks who go to college become just educated fools. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything else to come back to the neighborhood to empower their folks. They don't do anything for anyone else. I was talking to a person today who was working for a job and worked for that job 20 plus years. And the job shut down. And they didn't even give that person a severance package. 20 plus years. They made them folks rich. So the point I'm making is, now, the person that I'm talking about, their commitment has always been for folks. Mm-hmm. And that's the spirit that they brought into that business, to empower that business, to build that business. Now you have to start anew. And you don't even get a hand up.
That's real interesting, because that you mentioned that. I was just having this conversation the other day with one of my colleagues, and I was saying that a lot of times information that has been standard for other races and other cultures are not standard for us. And two of the things that I think of immediately when it comes to the workplace, and employment is how do you negotiate a salary, and how do you if you do cut ties, how do you advocate for your severance package? Because that's what the word severance means. You're severing ties, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people leave a job feeling ashamed, with some sort of guilt, but there is an investment, that you've worked over time. There are things in place for you, but a lot of times if you don't ask and don't know about it, you won't get it.
And that might be something we might need to revisit.
Yeah.
Because, you said the severance piece, and I think it's important that if a person has labored and put in a lot of time, the least you can do.
Yes.
But the reality is, Floyd, I have found that people don't even want to work now. It is so difficult sometimes for folks just to get the quality people. I'm talking about the ones who are committed, right? Yeah. The ones who don't mind going out in the community, walking up on Madison, or walking up on Roosevelt and Costner, or walking up on Roosevelt and Pulaski, or walking up on Jackson and Pulaski, and engaging folks.
Yeah.
All they want is some attention. All they want is a chance. But let me go back to this here. You're passionate about the work, but now I know that you have landed a position with the Staines Foundation.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
And you're the program officer. What does that mean?
Yeah, so, I've been with the Staines Family Foundation for over 2 years, coming up on my 3rd year. And I am the program officer for violence prevention public safety. So it's the world of philanthropy. Philanthropy is about giving. So the Staines family, they make investments in North Lawndale and North Chicago. They've been making investments in North Lawndale for well over 30 years.
Yeah.
We was just previous to the
And
airing. We were talking about this, right?
Ain't that something?
Yeah, how things come full circle. So what?
That's 30 years, man.
That's 30 years, and in one community. So what I do, what really attracted me to the position was that, I love the fact of helping people through the life course, right? So we talking about 30 years. Just imagine someone from their birth to 30 years old, right?
Yeah,
How many transition points?
Yeah.
How many trajectory points? How many areas of assistance you may need to get to the next level? So it's good to have a foundation. They call that place-based philanthropy. And in my role, there's other program officers. So our issue areas, we deal with education, health and wellness, workforce development, economic development, and violence prevention, public safety. So being a program officer really is about really managing a portfolio of grants that are made to community-based organizations in a given area, right?
Okay.
So, I manage, folks that are on the ground doing real hard work, real good work in North Lawndale in the areas of violence prevention and public safety.
And you're doing it now with Staines, but you've been doing it with others, and you've always had that passion. And I'm glad that you're with the Staines, because the Staines, I'm just being frank with you. 30 years ago, I was part of that first cohort of folks that they gave funding to in North Lawndale. That was back in the heydays, when the Sears building was popping.
Yeah.
Back in the days when everybody was in the community up under good leadership, good stewardship. Erling Collins, we had Ernie Jenkins, Gloria Jenkins, Congressman Davis, Michael Scott Sr., the O'Quinns. I'm talking about at that time, Doc, the ABC Center was going on, the BBC, all of that kind of activity, the Better Boys Fund. All of us had activities for these young people to be involved in. The Frederick Douglass Library. We had everything going over there in Lawndale. And Lawndale is on the up, it's on the up. You still got some things going on 26th Street, but they're getting better. Oh, 16th Street, I mean.
Yeah.
But they're getting better. But talk to me and tell me, in your opinion, what do you consider the state of the West Side to be at this point?
Man, when I saw that question,
Yeah,
right,
you know it was
I was
coming.
like,
It was coming.
Yeah, exactly, right.
It was coming.
And I just believe speaking truth to power and being real honest, right. So I think we're in a unique moment in time where our mayor, Brandon Johnson, is someone from the West Side, from the Austin community, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that
You know it firsthand, don't he?
Absolutely. and that's what I love about this is because I just have a simple saying that the people that are closest to the problem are the same ones that are closest to the solution.
Absolutely.
But furthest away from resources, right? So when we think of someone, you just said it, he knows about it, right? He knows about what struggle looks like, on the West Side, as well as the South Side. And poverty, right? So I think that, now is an opportune, fertile time, right, to be able to, maximize the fact that we have a leader, on a city level, and the stage is on him, and on Chicago, right? So as West Siders, we should feel proud, right? As Chicagoans, right? We should feel proud that we have, this person. Now, as we really narrow into like the West Side itself, right? And what are the things and what is the state of the West Side? Listen. This is why I love, I stand on the shoulder of my ancestors and giants, right? So I am just another cog in the wheel, right? But what I'm realizing is that ever since, Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement, and a lot of things on the West Side. If you think about the Madison Corridor, right? Ever since the fires that happened, in the 60s and early 70s, right? A lot of that area is not developed. It's almost like it used to be back then, right? So if we're not attracting investors, right, then it's gonna make, the area of the West Side, more of a crapshoot. If there's not quality grocery stores, if there's not, safe parks, exactly, and they close things like Aldi's and things like that. We need more quality, affordable spaces, and we need more people to come, into the West Side, North Lawndale, all these areas, right? And invest, because we know that the dollar goes outside of the West Side, right? So
all the time.
There are, ways to keep that dollar inside the West Side. We just got to create the spaces.
Well, you said something that hit me hard, because I've been begging people.
Yeah.
Let's pool our resources.
Yes.
Let's do what we have to do to create business opportunities in our own community, so that when young people are growing up, they won't have to resort to violence. But here, you gave them a chance to go out there and probably be a contractor and learn how to cut grass, shovel snow, and run a business. Or they may open up a store.
Yeah.
They wear all of the finest clothes. So run a retail store, buy the stuff and sell it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying that, I think that's where we're having our problem, economically speaking, is that we don't pool our resources. What's your thought?
Man, that I agree, right? I do think that collaboration rather than competition. But to keep it really plain and blunt, that's why I really like talking with you today, because I get to take off my foundation hat and I could just be a West Side resident.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is a lot of times, because of oppression, because of slavery, the long legacy of that, I think that a lot of times when we do get in positions of power, we start to imitate and replicate what the oppressor has done to us.
Yeah,
right?
when you don't know no better, you can't do no better.
Exactly, and a lot of times it's really hard, to build that trust, right? To be able to be like, hey man, here's another brother doing real good work. We could go farther and faster together, right? Rather than, being in isolation. And what, I always try to do is, I believe in collective impact, to really help. I just think about this simple thing. What is in the best interest of the residents, in my case, of North Lawndale?
Right.
And when, as a resident of Austin, I also think about what's in the best interest for the residents of Austin, right?
Absolutely.
But you won't know if you don't talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks really, I look at the whole continuum. I look at all the sector partners in our community, and I'm trying to continuously organize that core group.
Right.
Meaning that we ain't leaving out the young people, we ain't leaving out the parents, we're not leaving out the business, we're not leaving out the law enforcement. All of these sector partners have to work together if you're really going to have systemic change.
Yep.
You ain't going to have change, just keep on talking about those young people are bad, we need to lock them up. Well, you can do what you feel, but that ain't the answer.
Right.
Locking them up is just another way to create another business.
Exactly.
For some, all right?
Exactly.
Won't you invest those dollars into trade schools?
Exactly.
Invest those dollars, particularly in trade school. Like back in the day, you remember Washburn?
Yep.
Back in the day, those were, if a person wasn't academically astute, but they had to trade and they wanted to develop some skills, they would go there.
Exactly.
And probably become an electrician or become a carpenter or whatever trade they chose. I believe if we provided those type of resources or support to these young people, we can really make a difference. So I'm gonna stay on that point. What do you believe are the root causes for poverty and senseless violence, particularly on the West Side?
I think the root cause is.
Now, mind you, they're gonna be looking for you because you got the answer.
Hey, look, hey, I appreciate that. I do. I have my thoughts. A lot of them are rooted in evidence and over time. But I just believe that the root cause is inequality, right?
Yeah.
There's never been, I think, a time in America at this time where black people really feel as their equals and they really feel safe, right? I think that clearly during the pandemic and during the social injustice that was going on then, I saw right before my very eyes safe spaces for black people shrink. We already didn't have a lot of them. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
We already didn't have a lot of
Right.
them, but they started to shrink, right? And then I think some of the root causes, lie, in racism, right? Racism, we got to call it out. Racism is America's original sin. Racism is this nation's original sin. I took my kids, it was a blessing. Me and my oldest daughter, we drove down and got my two youngest daughters, and we went to the Legacy Museum, in Montgomery. It was the Wednesday before that buffoonery happened down there at the riverfront. Right? And
I bet you they won't do that no more.
Man, that's a fact.
I bet you won't mess with another working man again.
It's ugly out here, But what I will say is that what I learned about that whole piece was that it was the museum. It was a Legacy Museum on slavery, lynching, and mass incarceration.
Yeah.
Think about those three things: slavery, lynching, and mass incarceration. And what I came out of there realizing was, we talk about gun violence, but let's just talk about violence. America is masters at violence, the violence of separation. The violence of, removing, mothers, fathers, family units, right? It's been done, in those three ways: slavery, mass incarceration, and lynchings, right? So,
But I'm with you, because I like where you're going.
Yeah.
So I want to come back on that, because what you're sharing is, now you're talking about history, and now you're trying to elevate folk. And so what can we, as community stakeholders, if you will, what can we do in helping to reduce some of this senseless violence, to improve the quality of life for folks on the west side of Chicago, but also to allow our young people to understand that they can be whatever they want to be?
Yeah, I love that question. So I think there's many things. I'm gonna list a few. I think one thing is we have to, have conversations with our youth, right? Not talking to them. You have to actually talk with them and create a space. You have to stay relational with each other.
Okay.
As a community, you have to. My issues and values, they may be very different, or they may be the same or somewhere in between from my neighbor, right? But we both have to share the same space. So if something happens to my neighbor, if my neighbor get robbed, I'm just as concerned, because the likelihood of me getting robbed
You got that right.
Right? So I have to care, about what other people, is going on in their life. And what I think that we can do is mentoring. I think we can, make sure that we are setting an example, to our youth, listening to them, and helping our youth find their purpose. So I don't think it's that youth don't want to work. I think it's that we're not placing them in the positions that really speak to their soul.
Okay. So what we're going to do on Saturday, September the 9th, we're going to bring community resources and supportive services on the block. We're going to be on Madison and Kilpatrick.
Yes, sir.
In that lot. And we're going to do a series of back-to-school activities. We're going to have a Community Appreciation Day. We're going to have health screenings from all around coming out. We got some of the heavyweights will be coming out there to love on people. We anticipate folks getting some free health screenings, haircuts, things of that nature,
Nice.
Food, resources. So it's all free. But also we want to share with you that we have another initiative called Impact Identities, where we're encouraging young people between the ages of 12 to 24 years old to different cohorts or different sector groups or groups to come in and be involved with other young people. Give us a call at 773-287-5821. Again, these activities are for young people who need something to do. If young people want to be involved in an internship program, we're working with them to make that happen.
Love that.
Sending them off to different sending them off to different businesses and organizations to learn some skills.
I love that.
Hopefully they will find their place and want to stay in it.
Yeah.
So we do also have a MySpace safe drop-in site where young people can come in if they got some issues, they need some assistance in some areas, and we're going to help you. But if folks wanted to get in touch with some of the things you were doing, how can they get in touch with you? Or do you have a website or something?
Yeah, so I definitely would say visit the Staines Family Foundation website. That's www.staines, S-T-A-N-S, familyfoundation.org. You know, it has a list of staff. You'll see me, and you'll see other other staff that are working on other issue areas. And feel free to reach out. And I would also say, like, if you're going through any issues or any challenges in your life that got you struggling or debilitated, you know, reach out, you know, to a community-based organization, and let us never ever diminish the role of the church.
Absolutely.
There are churches all over the West Side, right? And I think that one of the core things that they all do is they're welcome to serve.
Well, we want to thank you, my good brother, for showing up with
Yes,
us.
sir.
We want to thank all of you who are watching the show today. If you need additional information, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you. God bless you. Keep the faith. Remember, we can be all that we can be if we work together. Teamwork can make the dream work. God bless you. Good night, and keep the faith. We'll see you soon.
All right.